I don't
So
mind.
if I ask a negative question,
I don't-
will you not answer them anymore?
That's being negative right now. Like you take an approach that I'm going to be negative. I'm not negative to anybody in here. I will challenge you and ask you why or where is this coming from. So I'm not built like that. I'm not built to hate. I'm not a hateful guy. I come with love. I think if anybody in here has had encounters with me, I don't come with the bull junk. I come with the peace and the joy.
So that was Coach Prime addressing one of the media guys in his last presser that wanted to know if he could be critical of Deion Sanders without being banned, as they say. Now, if you haven't heard the news, there was a report that came out claiming that the University of Colorado ended up banning one of the writers that works for the Denver Post from coming to Colorado. Now, this specific columnist for the Denver Post name is Sean Keeler. This guy and Deion ended up getting into I'll call it situation a couple of weeks ago in one of Deion's pressers. Here's what happened.
Coach Sean Keeler, the Denver Post. Happy summer, my man.
You don't like us, man. Why do you do this to yourself?
Come on.
You don't like us.
Mark likes me, by the way.
Huh?
Yeah. Mark said he likes me.
No,
so
but
that's
you
one.
don't. Why do you do this, though?
No, sorry. Two-parter if I could.
No, I'm serious.
Football
Why do
question.
you do this? Like, you know you don't. Like, why do you do this?
No, it's not about that. Football question.
No,
Question.
why do you do this? Like, it would be hard for me to really engage in someone I don't like or something I don't like. I'm just asking why. Like, why?
Gotta pay
What
the bills,
did I
guys.
do?
You didn't do anything. It's not about that. But this is a football
why?
question.
I'm asking you why.
Yeah, you can answer, but that's
Okay,
not
answer
your
me.
means.
Because you want me to answer you. So can
Yeah,
you
okay, that's fine. That's fair.
Why?
Why? Because I have
Give me
questions.
your why.
What's your why? What do you want to know?
Why do you always on attack? Like, what did we do?
Where am I on attack today? Where am I on attack?
Yeah, I'm not gonna give you opportunities to be on attack. But I'm asking you why. Like, what does it do for you? Like, what happened?
It's not about me.
But what happened to get you like this?
It's a good question.
No, I'm serious. Because I want to help. No, I'm serious. I want to help. Because it's not normal.
We can talk about that.
Okay.
Can I ask you a football question?
No,
Seriously.
No, we'll talk about that. When we talk about that, I'll talk about that with you.
Can we ask you a football question, please?
When I talk about that, we talk about that. We can talk about that.
Now, when this clip surfaced online, there was a lot of backlash coming towards Deion Sanders' way. A lot of people just taking it out of context, not really doing their research on who this Sean Keeler guy is and all the things that he said about Deion. Like, this guy is just a straight menace. Better yet, demon. Now, if you guys didn't pick up in the clip that I just showed you, when Coach Prime asked him what did he do to deserve the things that Sean Keeler was writing about him and stuff like that, all the personal attacks, he said, you didn't do anything. And then he also added and said things like, oh, I had to pay the bills. And when Coach Prime asked him, why are you always on the attack? His response was, I'm not on attack today. Little petty stuff like that. Now, if you guys want to hear some of the things that this guy has wrote about Deion Sanders as a columnist, a sports columnist, I'll let Shannon Sharp tell you.
All right. Shay, you're up first. Any issue with how Deion handled that?
Well, maybe not that particular guy, but there's just one columnist, Sean Keeler. He's used the phrase false prophet, deposition Deion, Planet Prime, Bruce Lee of BS, Deion Kool-Aid, and Circus. That's personal. If you want to talk about my program, if you want to say I'm not doing a good job of coaching, if you want to say that I don't do a good job of disciplining my players, and my players are not disciplined, and they're not playing the game the right way, I can live with that. But what does these personal attacks have to do with my program? Why are you attacking me personally?
Now, I understand Shannon Sharp's perspective on that, and I definitely agree with what he said. There is absolutely nothing wrong with criticism. People act like you can't criticize, things, especially in sports. It's like people feel like you always just got to talk good about someone or something sports-wise, and you don't. Criticism is perfectly fine and perfectly allowed. It's the personal attacks, like when you're actually talking about that particular person in a negative way that has nothing to do with sports at all whatsoever. Now, during this same segment of First Take, Stephen A. decided to address the issue himself. He definitely caught a lot of backlash for the way that he went about it. It was as if he was protecting this Sean Keeler guy. But a lot of people also brought up an interesting thing about Stephen A. Smith when it comes to this situation, what he said about Deion and the way that Deion should have handled the situation. Because the way that he said Deion should have handled the situation, he didn't do the same thing himself when a particular writer came for him.
Rooting for Deion. I've known Deion for years. He's a friend and a brother. Got a lot of love for him. I do not agree with how he's handled this situation. I do not agree with how the Colorado program has handled this situation. And quite frankly, I'm a bit disappointed because you have to have thicker skin than that. If you don't want to talk to the reporter, Shannon, don't talk to the reporter. But to have the program
Yes.
putting out a release announcing that we're not going to take questions as a program from this guy is utterly ridiculous. I don't know Mr. Keeler at all. I don't know much about his work, Sean Keeler, for the Denver Post. I'm not casting any aspersions on him, but there are people in the media out there that said he has been hypercritical and he has been accused of being a shock jock, et cetera, et cetera. If anybody's supposed to know how to deal with that, it's supposed to be prime time.
But let's see the way you handled Jason Whitlock when he was taking personal attacks at you and the things you had to say.
By this particular writer, so you know how I must feel that you betrayed me. Did you tell the folks that? You bitch. Did you tell them? You fat piece of shit. Did you tell them that? On the time, I actually tried to speak up for this damn cretin. I knew he was a piece of shit. You know what's out there writing stuff, smiling in my face 1 minute, talking smack about me behind my back, and then ultimately writing it? It was him.
Smiling in my face 1 minute, talking smack about me behind my back, and then
ultimately writing it? It was him. He is the worst, most despicable, lying, no good, fat ass human being I have ever known in my life.
Now, shout out to TS4T Sports Media for that clip on the end right here that I just showed with Stephen A. Smith. But as you can see, when a writer does it to Stephen A. Smith, that's his response. Deion Sanders did nowhere near what Stephen A. Smith did. Deion actually handled it the right way, honestly. You even had Deion Sanders' son, Deion Jr., coming out saying the same thing, like, yo, do these guys even know what they're even talking about right now? But I also want to put out there and let the people know that this Sean Keeler guy is not banned from coming to Colorado University. He can still come there. He can still attend team practices and everything. The only thing that he cannot do is ask Deion himself questions while the presser is going on. But let me know down in the comments what you guys think about the situation. Do you feel like Deion was in the right? Was he in the wrong? Do you feel like he could have done things better? Do you feel like the situation is fine where it is? Like, where do you stand? Do you feel like Stephen A. Smith was right? Do you feel like he was a hypocrite with the clip that I showed you? Like, let me know in the comments, man. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.